Tell me a story about my mother Barbara and the name she chose for herself, with a little throwback to Edna, her mother and my grandmother, by Kathleen Zarubin. During our lifetime, some names are bestowed on us. Things like our birth names, or maybe a loved or hated nickname. Then when we have children, terms like mum or mummy, dad or pa. Then, when you learn you're going to be a grandparent for the very first time, part of that journey is deciding what you will be called. It can be quite a topic of conversation. Sometimes, choices might seem to be restricted. You've already got 2 nanas in the family. Personal feelings might impact the decision. I'm too young to be called a grandma. Choosing to incorporate first names can be an option. Something like, I'm going to be called Grandad John. Or terms from other languages and cultures might be considered. Maybe like, I'm going to be a nonna. In my extended family, there have been a number of unique and different names for grandparents. My mother, Barbara Jean Fay, her name given at birth, chose to be Mia. Here is her version of grandmère, the French word for grand. Now, Mum wasn't French. Mum was born in 1944 on the 1st of November, All Saints' Day. Day she felt might have been significant in her life, but that's a story for another time. She was born at home in Eccles, a town in the city of Salford in Greater Manchester, which back then was part of Lancashire, England. Not only was Mum not French, but as far as we know, there's no French bloodlines in our family tree, nor was the country or language of France particularly significant to Mum or her family. In fact, I remember her mother, Edna, my grandmother, having a bit of a whinge about the French because apparently, according to her, they didn't know how to queue properly in lines and were quite rude. And that's just not my opinion. Ask anyone, she would say. I'm guessing this goes back to what some historians refer to as the long-standing sibling-type rivalry between the French and the English. Anyway, the point is, there was no real French connection as to why Mum chose to be called Mia. She just liked the sound of it and thought it was a little bit different. Personally, I've always thought it was also because it sounded a little bit like my dear, a sort of term of endearment, especially when the kids were little and they would say, my Mia. Over the years, the name Mia really stuck. So many children, now adults, called our Barbara Mia. You did not have to be a grandchild by blood, marriage or even love to be welcomed in and allowed to call her Mia. Almost everyone called her Mia. Even teenagers and adults who met her later in life were introduced as, "This is Mia." And even those who called her something else, like Auntie Barbara, still knew who you were talking about when the name Mia was said. Mia was and is her special name, the name she chose for herself. My grandmother, Mum's mother, yes, the one who had a thing about the French, Edna, was a nana. She died in 1987, just 1 year before Mum became a Mia. But Nana had a very distinctive way of referring to members of the family or close friends. He would always use the word our before everyone's name. So whether Nana was talking about me or to me, I was always our Kathleen. And Mum, for example, was always our Barbara. Edna did this for everyone, and apparently it's a bit of a Northern English thing. And according to my Auntie Tricia, Mum's sister, or should I say our Patricia, who lives in the UK, people to this day still say it like that. I can still remember the sound of Nana's voice saying, "Come and sit, our Kathleen, we'll have some tea." How I wish I could do her accent. Or should I say, our Mia, did live to see and hold her great-grandchild, my grandson, my daughter's son, Boston. Not long before he was born, Mum and I talked about how I was going to be a nana. Originally, I toyed with the idea of being called Nana Kath as a way of using my name and making it a bit unique. But at the end of the day, I went with just Nana. It's the name I've chosen for myself. When I hear Boston call me Nana, it's unique enough. It is, I also like to think, a lovely little throwback to my Nana, my mum's mum. No matter what name you choose for yourself, there's nothing quite like hearing your grandchild say,
"I love you, Nana."
I do sometimes get Nana Kath from other little people in my life, so maybe some names evolve of their own accord over time. Though Boston was only a few months old when Mum died, he did get to see me become a nana, and we did get to talk about how incredibly special and overwhelming it is to become a grandparent. As Mum said, to see your child become a parent is wonderful, and then to see a grandchild become a parent, well, that's something incredibly special. I don't know if Mum would have got Boston to call her Great Mia. Maybe she might have liked having the word great in front of Mia, even for a laugh. But somehow I doubt it. I think she would have been us Mia. We will and do tell Boston stories about his great-grandmother. When we talk about her, we call her Mia. In hindsight, my only regret is that we didn't include Mia on her headstone. But no matter. To so many of us, she'll always be our Mia. Name she chose for herself, with a touch of that Northern England connection.